Good evening, and thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. DeWanda Owens. This is Friday, July the 5th. Hope you guys had a wonderful July 4th. I'm coming on live today to talk about our ABCs of mental health. And our word for today is delusional disorder. Many a times we hear the word delusion and we use that word, we use it lightly. We're not really vicarious enough with it, but there is a mental health diagnosis attached to delusion, and it's called delusional disorder. There are many levels of delusion. Most of the time, when there is a persecutory delusion disorder, it comes by way of something that happened to somebody in their life. Say, for instance, you have a bad breakup, or when it comes to a relationship, you experience something severe or traumatic that will make you think that individual is out to get you, unto the point where you think it in your mind so much that it becomes a delusion. Sometimes we think that, so for instance, somebody is following us. Everywhere we go, by chance or happenstance, they may show up or may even have a reason to be in the vicinity of where we are. Well, we start to develop this thing in our mind that they're following us. And so we create this atmosphere of delusion. And sometimes it goes on for maybe even a month. And then there's a break and then it comes back. It can be sporadic. But delusional disorder, when we think about it, when it's relate to everyday life, there are many, many levels of delusion. And not only is it many levels of it, it goes to the point where it becomes a figment of our imagination. Things that can be real, that is not real, we make it real in our minds. And that's called delusional disorder. Delusional disorder, and people who suffer with it make it hard for you to have a real life conversation with them, because you're in reality and you're in the now. You're in the true facts of life, and they're in a place of delusion. They're in a place of, in their minds, where it's not even real. It's not even happening. And no matter how you try to talk to that individual or compromise with that individual based on the fact of the reality of the situation, their delusion will make them reject your reality every time. And it is so hard to have a conversation with someone who suffers with delusional disorder. It is also hard to have a relationship with people who suffer from delusional disorders. But I do encourage you to just think about seeking help. If there is something that you are thinking in your mind, but you can't prove it, but you think it to the point where you start to believe it, but nobody else does, consider it. It may be just a delusion that only you believe. Sometimes, even in ministry, there are individuals that suffer with delusion, and they use it as a form of prophetic, maybe even apostolic. But when the one thing about the prophetics and the apostolic, we have the power to speak those things that are not as though they were, and then they manifest. But when a person suffers from delusion, and they've been diagnosed or maybe misdiagnosed or not diagnosed with delusional disorder, they don't want to hear reality. They don't receive reality. There's no way, no matter how you talk to them and tell them the way they're thinking could not be real, they never even consider the reality of the condition or the situation or the circumstance. So today I want you to think about that. Are you in a state of delusion? Do you know someone in a state of delusion? If you do, encourage them to seek help. Study up on it, research it, There are many levels. There is mild delusion all the way to severe delusion, to thinking that, you can predict when the world will come to an end. As mild as saying somebody's watching me, somebody's following me. Or even so delusional to make yourself believe that you're in a relationship that only you know. And the person that you think you're in a relationship with, they don't even know you exist. I know some people that have been through that. I know some people that deal with that. Delusional disorder is real. Count it all joy if you don't suffer from that. But if you know somebody that does, encourage them to seek help. Delusional disorder is real. God bless.